Metal up, guys. This is CJ with CJOrtiz.com and MetalMotivation.com. This is the first of a new 5-message series I'm doing on thought and action, the keys to creating new behavior. Now, this is all being shown in my Life Domination online coaching program, and you can learn more about that if you visit the link below. Thought and action. If there is any criticism that I have for the self-improvement industry, it is this. There is more talk than there is action. There's more emphasis on thought than there is on action. You know, you have the law of attraction. I prefer the law of action. Sometimes I describe the self-improvement motivational industry as all think, no action. Now, am I saying that thinking is not important? Absolutely not. I have tons and tons of video series on that subject alone. In fact, if I was to whittle down self-improvement, I would begin and end with the mind. The problem is people stop there. Always learning, always going to a new seminar, always getting a new book, always reading something else, but no action ultimately on a consistent basis is ever taken. And that's really where the keys lie. Without action, consistent over time in the face of adversity, nothing will ever be created in your life. You will forever go through life, and life will mercilessly treat you and ignore you, even though you have this great desire to do something and you feel like you've done so much for other people that you deserve it. Guess what? Life will ignore you. Why? Because life only responds to consistent, persistent, determined, diligent action. You must have thought and you must have action. If you are going to create new behaviors in your life, you're going to need that two-edged sword, thought and action. It is not enough to think. Start there. Place a tremendous amount of emphasis there. But if you can create a harmony and a concert between your thought and your action, that is the fast track to getting where you want to go. It's the fast track for creating new behaviors. And that's really what we're after, is it not? A new and different way of living, a new and different way of behaving. Aren't there habits? Aren't there some habits that you'd like to get rid of? Aren't there some habits, some ways that you behave that you would like to stop? Well, it's going to require thought and action. Because the mind, the body, as I've said before, they are attached. When you don't eat, you tend to get in a bad mood, right? Because body and mind are attached. Now, the other thing is that if you think something and there is no corresponding action in your life, your mind is never going to truly believe what it is you're trying to convince yourself of, right? No matter what it is, if there is not corresponding thought to what it is you're trying to transform your mind about, your mind is never going to believe it. Your mind will never believe a million positive thoughts if you don't give yourself believable reasons. In other words, you can't just think about being slim. You can't just think about losing weight. You have to be able to show yourself doing what it is that creates that loss of weight. You have to have thought and you have to have action. I see people doing the other. They put in a lot of effort to thought. They're, again, as I said, they're continually learning. They're always educating themselves. That's a good thing to do. They take time to meditate. That's a good thing to do. They try to discipline their thoughts. Those are all good things to do. But we need action more than we need other things, in the sense of creating the behaviors. To think is not enough. You must be able to take action. And again, in the self-improvement industry, it is much, much easier to sell magic. It is much, much easier to sell the idea that you can attract things with your mind. Am I saying you can't? I don't know, man. You have to show me something that people can do in all situations at all times, and then we'll say that. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you that you're going to attract things with your mind any more than I'm going to tell you that things are going to happen if you pray or whatever. Okay, I have to be able to establish my life philosophy based on something that will work with all people at all times in all situations. And what will work for all people in all times in all situations is thought and action. The law of action beats the law of attraction every time, but it's easier to sell the law of attraction, the idea that you can create and attract things with your mind. Why is that? Because it's an end around work. It's people thinking there's a shortcut. It's people thinking that they can do something that doesn't require sweat equity. Granted, maybe there are some people who've done some things. I don't know. I can't prove that. But what I can prove is that if you think something and you take consistent action towards that goal, man, that is probably the best odds you're ever going to get that you'll experience a life transformation and get the goal that you say you truly want. Thought and action. Law of action beats law of attraction every time. But it's easier to sell the law of attraction. What am I selling? I'm selling personal responsibility. So guess what? It's hard to sell. What I'm telling you is the onus, the obligation, and the responsibility is yours. Don't rebel against that responsibility. Don't resist the great calling that you have in life, all of the gifts, talents, abilities that you have, waiting to be manifested, waiting to be acted on, waiting to be expressed, and to create the kind of life that you want and be the kind of change asset that you can be to other people's lives, and hopefully leave the world in a better place than when you got here. Can you dig that? Well, that's what I'm covering all this week in my Life Domination online coaching program. If you'd like to see the rest of this week's videos, as well as have instant access to my entire archives, the vault of videos that I've already done in this group, there's now over 500 videos on almost 90 plus different topics in my Life Domination Coaching video vault. You can have access to that as well. All of this is being shown in a private Facebook group, which I administrate. The only other people in the group are people just like you, people just like me, motivated people, no naysayers, no negativity. So you don't ever have to get off your phone if you don't want to. It's right there on Facebook. You can see the videos there, and you have access again to the whole archives of video. All of that for less than $20 a month. I think that's pretty good. No contract. You cancel anytime. I'd love to have you be a part of it. If you want to know more, visit the link below. metalmotivation.com/Life Domination Coaching. This is CJ, the Metal Motivator. And remember, in whatever you do, don't suck. Metal up.